Welcome back to Rare Coin Numics. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get started with today's video. In 1972, something quite extraordinary happened in the world of American coinage. While it seemed like just another year of regular coin production, it would soon prove to be far more significant, especially for collectors and numismatists. The 5-cent coin, or the nickel, became the center of attention for a reason no one had anticipated. A rare minting error, one that would lead to some of these coins becoming worth hundreds, thousands, and even tens of thousands of dollars. But this wasn't just any error. It was a mistake that would transform an otherwise mundane piece of currency into a treasure. To understand the significance of the 1972 5-cent coin, we need to dive into the history, the design, and the circumstances that led to this particular year's coins becoming highly sought after. And as we take you through this journey, we'll uncover how a small, overlooked mistake turned a simple nickel into a prized possession for collectors across the world. The story begins long before 1972. The nickel itself, the 5-cent coin, has a storied history in American coinage. First introduced in 1866, the nickel replaced the half-dime as the country's smallest silver coin. Over the years, the design of the coin has changed several times, reflecting both the needs of the country and the changing political climate. But by 1938, a new design was introduced that would remain largely unchanged for decades. The image of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia home, on the reverse. This design was created by artist Felix Schlag, and it would become an enduring symbol of American heritage. For over 30 years, from the late 1930s until 1972, the Jefferson nickel design would remain a constant in the U.S. Mint's coinage production. This was a period of relative stability in U.S. coin design until the unexpected happened. In 1972, the U.S. Mint faced a number of challenges in meeting the rising demand for currency. The post-World War II boom in consumerism had led to a greater need for coins, and this demand was increasing every year. At the same time, inflation was creeping up across the country, driven by the costs associated with the Vietnam War and the oil crisis. The price of metal, particularly copper and nickel, the two materials used to make the 5-cent coin, was rising as well. With the rising costs of production, the Mint had to find ways to keep up while ensuring the quality and quantity of coins produced for circulation. The nickel of 1972 would be no different from the ones that came before it in terms of its general appearance. The familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson adorned the front of the coin, and Monticello, his plantation home, was depicted on the back. The design was simple, elegant, and iconic. But while these coins were strikingly similar to the ones from previous years, one very small but important difference would soon make the 1972 nickel stand out. The Mint produced billions of these coins in 1972. An unusual event occurred during the minting process that went unnoticed at first. During the striking of the coins, a minting error known as the double die occurred on some of the 1972 nickels. A double die error is caused when the coin die is misaligned during production, leading to the design being impressed onto the coin more than once, creating a double image. In the case of the 1972 nickel, the doubling was particularly noticeable in the date on the obverse side of the coin. The 1972 was stamped twice, once at the correct angle and a second time slightly shifted, creating a doubling effect that was apparent to anyone who looked closely. While these errors were incredibly rare, they were also very significant. The 1972 double die nickel became a sought-after collector's item. But what made this error so special? In the world of numismatics, it's not just the rarity of a coin that drives its value. It's the story behind the error, the history of its creation, and the uniqueness of each piece. The 1972 double die nickel had all of these elements. But before we go deeper into the story of the 1972 nickel, let's first examine what makes such an error so desirable to collectors. A mistake in the minting process might seem like an insignificant issue. After all, most people would simply pass off a coin with an error as a simple manufacturing flaw. But in the world of coin collecting, errors are highly coveted. Why? Because they are unique. They tell a story of imperfection in a world that strives for precision. An error coin, particularly one as visually striking as the double-die 1972 nickel, offers a glimpse into the machinery and process behind the production of the coin. Coin collectors are fascinated by these anomalies because they represent a tangible piece of history, something that is out of the ordinary. In the case of the 1972 double-die nickel, the error wasn't immediately noticeable, and the majority of the coins produced that year did not contain this flaw. In fact, only a small fraction of the 1.2 billion nickels minted in 1972 are believed to have the double-die error. This rarity only added to the coin's allure, making it highly desirable among collectors. The more unusual the error, the more valuable the coin becomes. As word spread among collectors and numismatists, the value of the 1972 double-die nickel began to rise. However, the process of determining just how much these coins were worth was not immediate. For one, many people didn't recognize the error right away. It wasn't until a few years after the coin was minted that collectors began to notice the doubling effect on the date. Once the error was recognized, the hunt for these rare coins began in earnest. The demand for 1972 double-die nickels skyrocketed. Collectors began scouring their change, checking every 1972 nickel they came across, hoping to find one of the elusive error coins. The prices for these coins climbed steadily as more collectors began to seek them out. A well-preserved example of a 1972 double-die nickel, especially one that was in mint condition, could fetch hundreds, even thousands of dollars. In fact, some of the most pristine examples of the 1972 double-die nickel, ones that showed minimal wear and had clear doubling on the date, began to be sold at auction for stunning prices. The highest known price for a 1972 double-die nickel was set when one sold for $113,000. This sale made headlines and cemented the 1972 double-die nickel's place in the pantheon of rare and valuable coins. For numismatists, this was the equivalent of finding a rare masterpiece in a forgotten attic, an extraordinary find that would shape the world of coin collecting for years to come. But what makes a 1972 double-die nickel worth so much? It's a combination of factors, all of which come together to create a truly unique collector's item. First, there's the rarity. With over 1.2 billion 1972 nickels minted, only a small percentage of them contain the double-die error. That means these coins are far from common. Then there's the quality. Coins that are in exceptional condition, with no wear, scratches, or damage, are far more valuable than those that have been circulated and show signs of use. The clearer the doubling on the date, the higher the value. Finally, there's the sheer historical significance of the coin. The 1972 double-die nickel represents an anomaly in the history of American coinage, and collectors are willing to pay top dollar for a piece of that history. In the world of numismatics, there are few coins that are as sought after as the 1972 double-die nickel. As prices continue to rise, these coins remain a symbol of rarity and a prized addition to any collection. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a newcomer to the world of coins, the 1972 double-die nickel stands as a testament to the enduring appeal of error coins and the fascinating stories they tell us. If you've ever wondered about the value of a seemingly ordinary nickel, the 1972 double-die coin offers an intriguing glimpse into how the smallest details can change the fate of a coin and, in turn, its worth. Today, with values reaching $113,000, the 1972 double-die nickel serves as a powerful reminder that sometimes, even the most ordinary things can have extraordinary value.